Welcome everyone to another episode of Beyond Your Beliefs. I'm My name is Bastian. A lot of you guys know me on Instagram as Honcho Mindset, and with me today, as always, Matthew. If you want to go
Okay.
ahead and say what's up, bro. How you doing today, brother?
What's up? Doing well. Super grateful to be here.
Matthew and I have been having some great conversations, really good energy, and we want to definitely put that out here for you guys as well. Different conversations that have been coming up lately, and but I want you guys to know that these episodes literally come from our own experiences. These episodes are coming from what we're experiencing now and currently, and what we feel like many of us may be experiencing as well. So today we're going to be talking about a bit of more of a touchy subject, and I feel like a lot of this discussion, at least for me, should have came a long time ago. So happy to be touching on that, on everything that we've collected from our experiences today. And the topic is money. Okay, so money, like psychology of money. What is the psychology, your current psychology of money? What is your current belief about money? What is money? Where does it come from? Right. And so, Matthew, we haven't talked about this to each other, so this is going to be new to both of us. And so, what is your belief about money?
Money to me is really an exchange of value, right? I mean, that's what it's used for, right? It's kind of like I trade you this for this. So money, at least in with first world, I guess you could say, is it's an exchange for value, right? It's means to exchange one thing for another. But in reality, the way it's created, money is debt. Because the way
Mm,
money is created is, like, right, the people who print the money, right? It's a foreign agency, and
okay.
give this money to the government, and the government has to pay it back, right? So the taxes that we pay is the government's debt to this foreign agency that is printing the money, right? So which is like the revenue service. So yeah, in reality, money is debt, but you know, day to day for us, really, money is an exchange of values. So it's like
Mm.
your perception of money is like, how much is it worth? Like, what is something worth? How much of a dollar or specific currency are you willing to give up in order for that thing? So money is really an exchange of value, is the way I see it.
Yeah, 2 years ago, one of my mentors, actually, it was you. We were on a call, and you said this, and it blew my mind. So, for those of you who don't know, I met Matthew through a trading platform or a trading academy, and he was one of the educators on that platform, and he was doing a live one night. And this topic changed my whole perspective of money and trading. And he said that trading is an exchange of energy, the exchange of wealth from patients to the impatient, and an exchange of energy. And for me, for since that, I've always looked at currency as a form of energy, as a form of an exchange, just like you said, of value, a form of how much energy something is worth to you. And that is a big point right there. How much is it to you? Because why is it that we 10 different individuals may look at something that's worth the same value, and each one will view it differently? Like each individual will see that price tag and perceive that price tag differently. Some, and for most individuals in the world, um, deal with it being too much. There's some individuals that understand that that is just what it is and accept it as is. And there's other individuals that come at it as, how can I may not be afford it right now, but how can I make it so I can afford this? And so it is affordable. But a lot of us, how we view it, and I viewed money a lot like this, is it's just too much. I rather not. I would not, invest all my capital on this, or it's just too much or too expensive. I don't know if you guys have heard that term, too expensive. Uh, all it is, nothing's ever too expensive in reality. It's just not affordable right now, but it's not too expensive. So it's not in your reach. Nothing is too expensive, too pricey, too valuable for your reach. And it's about getting that like belief out of your system. And that's something we all grew up with. A lot of us grew up with, I believe in. So that's my belief about money. At least that's what I believe money is, and that's how I've begun to perceive it. Most of my life I was in that percentage of things are just too expensive or never enough. So it could be go both ways. It's either too expensive or just never enough. And I feel like those are two beliefs that are very detrimental to carry and move forward, not just with us, but our kids or our children's children, our family, our friends, our group of people that you talk to. Right? Last thing I want to be talking or receiving is energy about the lack of money. You see, there in the world that there's just too much money in the world, and that's my belief of it. There's enough for everyone and so much more. Like, yeah, the government's in debt, right? That Matthew was saying, like, governments are in debt. These entities, reserves are in debt. That's how they print this money. But we don't have to be indebted to that. We can create wealth because there's enough to go around. And that's my belief about money. And it's just about your perception on it and how that affects you. If I continue to believe in my life where everything was just too expensive or too much, I wouldn't be here today. I would not be living the life that I am today. And I can honestly tell you that with very strong belief, I used to be someone that believed that hard work will pay off. And I can honestly tell you, those beliefs were passed down to me from my family. Work your ass off, and I promise you, you'll pay off. Like, and yeah, like at first when I was a teenager, man, like working long ass hours, that shit pays off. But at the end of the day, what really is paying off is sacrificing all of that, all of those beliefs, and detaching myself from all of that to welcome new beliefs. And a lot of the times, these beliefs, it's easier, you don't have to delete them, but it's a lot easier to just replace them. Right? So how have these beliefs affected your perception? I know Matthew, so Matthew, for those of you who don't know, Matthew was introduced into this industry at a very young age. And so when I saw him on the charts, I think you were still 19 or 20. You're still 19 or 20 years old. This was like 2 years ago, 19 or 20 years old, and 2 or 3 years ago. And that blew my mind. I was like, what? Like somebody way younger than me doesn't have to work physical labor because they have acquired a skill set that giving him abundance of time. So now instead of putting his so much energy towards physical labor of somebody else towards somebody else's dream, he can now put all that energy into his own dream. And ever since I've known him, he's been doing that, exactly that. And so I want to ask you what it was like coming into your industry and you see most individuals doing what you're doing are so much older than you, and you're just coming in here killing it, week after week, day after day, month after month, year after year. How has that had an effect on you in this industry coming up?
I feel like it had the greatest effect. As far as like my perception and my beliefs and my psychology of just like, since this is this specific episode is on the psychology of money, like on that exactly. Because, you know, again, just like yourself, you know, growing up, you know, seeing things like, oh, like we don't have, you know, enough for this, or that's too much, or like certain limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
And then you get put into an environment, or you put yourself in an environment where nobody's saying those kind of things, right? It's like, it's kind of like a joke, like money's just a number, like it's just a number. And I feel like that really shifted a lot for me, just being around people who, you know, had the results I wanted. And you just realize that the people who had the kind of like money that you want, or type of relationships, or whatever it is, like they have different beliefs. So, you know, you don't hear those people saying, oh, that's too much, that's too expensive. You know, instead of saying, oh, like I can't afford this, they ask questions, right? Like, how can I afford this, right? Like, so then it opens up possibilities for themselves of how they can get it. So I just believe that, you know, just really reflecting, a lot of the people around me were just kind of settled with, oh, okay, well, I can't get it. But it's like,
Yeah.
you know, then you get around people who are like, how can I get it? Or people who got it, and it's because they decided, they asked themselves, how could they get it? And they
Hmm.
just, you know, they're open to really believing in themselves that they deserve it. So I feel like, you know, a lot of times we kind of adopt beliefs from parents or people that we're around, and kind of accept that for ourselves. It's kind of like you're bonding with certain trauma or beliefs, where it's like,
Yeah.
they're just like, oh, like, yeah, of course it's hard out here, or oh yeah, it's expensive. So they're kind of just like, people are just like bouncing it off each other, and that's just like the belief. But again, like putting yourself in a different environment where people don't believe in those things, or they believe in, they're not thinking in terms of survival, they're thinking and living in abundance. It really just has a huge effect on you. So, you know, being around people who just, they'll check you, you know, like, you know, we don't say that here. Like, we don't say this is too much. We don't say, you know, like we don't say stuff like that. So it's like, how can I, or it's like really just believing in yourself. But I think what's important as well, what shifted my whole perception of money, right? Going back to the hard work stuff again, like a
Mm.
lot of us come from backgrounds of families where, again, it's just work, 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 hours, you know, like I didn't see my dad much growing up, but obviously, like, he's still my life. But because he was working so hard all day, right?
Hmm.
And like, because that's all his family knew and everybody around us. So a huge thing that shifted my perception when it came to money was, again, it's like you said, there's hard working, and then it's really not how much you make, but it's how you make it. Like that is what shifted it for me. It was like, not how much you make, but how you make it, right? So it's like someone could work, you know, 8 hours a day. Let's just say $10, right? And that right there is $80, right? Let's just say. But then you're surrounding yourself with people who make that in a few minutes in the morning, just from the tap of a button. So like that just shifted everything. Where it's like, it's not how much you make, it's how you make it. And with trading, obviously, you could scale it. So you know, it's high leverage opportunities, right? Things that will require a less amount of your time, but they're more rewarding, right? So again, we're mostly taught growing up, like it's really, I'm getting a call over here. It's really, you know, having something that requires less amount of time and energy, but it's a high leverage, which means the more time and the more energy you put into it means it could only lead to more leverage. So it's like with other opportunities, there's really, you know, no leverage there if you're just working a job, you know, and you're self-employed. So really understanding leverage is what shifted my psychology about money and my perception about it. Because again, I never knew anybody who you know, utilize leverage to, you know, grow their wealth. So leverage is really the main thing. So I started surrounding myself with people who, you know, they had different beliefs, changed the way they thought, changed the way they spoke, and they utilize leverage, right? They leverage their money to make more money, and they leverage the network around them, the people around them, right? Most of society
Mm.
are like in competition with each other, but
Wow,
when,
that's a big
when
one.
you, when you leverage each other, you could, again, like you could get a lot better results. So again, it's not how much you make, because anybody could do something by themselves, right? But then when you work together as a team, you could get a lot more done. So that's why you hear people like um, just very successful individuals say, you know, they'd rather have a percentage of something big than like an entire percentage of something that's not that big, because they understand leverage. So
Mm.
um, yeah, I think that's like a huge thing.
So, you know, I want to go back to something that you said right there because it's not how I really like that. It's not how much you make, it's how you make it. And you know, I have a similar belief like that as well. And it's something that I literally live and trade by. Like it's in my trading plan. And it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep.
Hmm.
And that's always been like a huge one for me. It's like it's
That's
not
the next level. That's the next
it,
level, because anybody can make money, but being able to keep it is a whole
yeah.
nother psychology, and then being able to multiply it is another one. So yeah,
Yeah.
please continue. Please continue.
Yeah, yeah. And so honestly, and this is all going to lead into, of course, we'll go on to like debt and credit and how to utilize all of that. But um, for now, I wanted to share this to replace like old beliefs. Okay, this episode is really to help us bring new beliefs and replace the old beliefs because a lot of us are so focused on getting money. That's the thing. It's like we spend so much time chasing money. It's not even like it says I'm a little unstable. One sec. Um, it's not. It's so much time spending like chasing money, and it to come to realize that at the end of the day, it's like you're spending all of this money, time. That's a big one, time and energy chasing a bag when in reality the bag is everywhere and the bag comes to you and the bag is created not by how much you make but how you make it and how much you keep when you do make it. And that's new beliefs that we want to bring to your guys' awareness. um, you can make as much money as you want, but if you know your car payment is a quarter of your income, I promise you, like that, I promise you, that's gonna hurt you in the long run. There's people that I know, seven-figure traders, seven-figure individuals that have their car paid off, not because they have a lot of money, but because they never went out and spent it on a bunch of different cars. They have the same car that they were at six figures with. They have the same vehicle that they're at now seven figures with, and they bring that same energy forward and they keep investing back into the market. And that's another thing. It's like how much value, going back to what Matthew said, how much value can you bring to the marketplace? And that's the reality of it. Your value, if you're paid on based on the value that you can bring to the market, right? And you have to base yourself when it comes to economics, base yourself in this economy as to how much value do I bring to this economy or to the market, right? How much value can I provide? And honestly, it's as simple as to be able to, at the moment I stop chasing for money and I align my values with a bigger purpose than myself, than just me, I began to, income began to flow into my life. And not just into my life, but I attracted different incomes throughout the way as well. And it's all by following like this one path that I really paved for myself, and it was trading. I created a trading environment. I created education surrounding my life was around trading. I ran my life in EST to wake up earlier. I've done different things to acquire a and leverage more of my time, because I no longer view my time with a dollar value. There's no dollar value that you can put on my time. That's the reality of it. maybe there's a dollar value that you can put, a digit that you can put on my on my information, that what I can provide, but my time is you can't put a number on that, because I can create and do many different things now, and things that anybody can do. That's a you it you need $0. It costs $0 to create. There's many businesses out there that started with $0 of an
I
investment.
I think like what you said is so powerful with saying like so many people are so focused on like chasing money and getting it like again, and your reality will just shift, like saying like you can't put a price tag on the amount of on your time because your time is invaluable, right? There's no amount because you've seen what you can do now with what took you hours to make, days, even weeks, months now, right? Now you're doing it like now you can do it weekly, daily, like just based on again high leverage opportunities. And I think that's so powerful when you acquire skills instead of chasing money, like you become a person of value. The more valuable you become based on the skills that you acquire, money comes to you. Exactly what you said, bro. Like I just had to chime in and say that because that's so true. Like instead of chasing money, like focus on becoming a person of value. And the more valuable you become as an individual with certain skill sets, like you just attract money because now you are a person of value. And again, money for me is an exchange of value. So it's like, why do people become super wealthy? Well, it's because they acquire certain skill sets or what they do and who they are is just so valuable that again it's worth it to work with those people. It's worth it to like you're just deserving of it because the value of your skills and the value of yourself is so high that it's a no-brainer. Like that aligns the dollar amount that you someone may perceive as a lot or a little is like it's aligned because that's what you truly believe you're worth, right? So it all comes back to like your self-image and your self-belief and the skills that you have and the skills you provide to the marketplace. Like the marketplace is going to literally correlate with the value that you set for yourself. So yeah, high leverage opportunities. And yeah, like for me, like really the thing that like I'll never forget when I made my biweekly check, right? My biweekly check from working scooping ice cream at Baskin Robbins, right? I was with my mentor. We're actually up all night, and it was NFP. And literally, he's like, "Give me your phone." And I was like, "Okay." And he was on my account, bro, and he traded for me. Like he traded NFP for me, and bro, he literally made like $600 in like a few minutes. And I was like, "What the fuck?" Like bro, you just did that like in 10 minutes. Like, what the heck? You know,
Yeah.
and he's just like, withdraw it. He's like, make it real. And I was like, so yeah, like your perception, like moments like that, you know, I feel like most, like a lot of people will think, oh, that sounds cool. That sounds good. But it's like actually doing it, like you get closer to it. And once you get a little taste of like, oh, wow, like this is real. Like I could actually do this, like your whole reality of perception of money just shatters because it's like, wow, like what I used to think took so much, it's actually like effortless, right? Because there's the amount of resistance that you have towards your belief towards getting something, like that's always going to be there. So it's like when you allow yourself and you like really imagine like a wall just being removed between you and where you want to be and like the amount of money that you want to get, you really see how close it is. Because a lot of times, again, the reason why most people will keep saying something's too expensive or it's like it's so far out of reach is because they're not close enough to the fire. So I truly believe, like just like you said, you created an environment for yourself, right?
Mhm.
Where that's all you're surrounded by is this abundance and you know the things that you want. So that's exactly where you're going to be. Most people never get to that because they continue to surround themselves with the same
Yeah.
environments, with the same people, and it's really getting uncomfortable, right? Like you, like if you, again, if it's like the average, right? If you're the average five people around you, whatever. So that's really like what you are. But again, they say like if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room, right? Same thing. If you're the person with the most money in the room, like you're in the wrong room. So like it's constantly being uncomfortable and surrounding yourself with people who are further ahead than you in certain areas, because that like stretches your level of belief and like your perception of money, because it's like, oh wow, like if this person could do it, then like I can do it. So like your psychology of just seeing like, oh, like there's no like nothing really special. It's just my perception of it. Like, do I really believe I'm that valuable? Am I really that worth it? And only you really know that, right? You, God, the universe, Allah, right? Whoever, like you really know that. So I truly believe that your perception about money and stuff really changes the more you acquire more skills and the more value you add to other people, because then you'll be like, wow, like money just starts coming easily because you're so valuable that people are just willing to pay you, right? Or you are so consistent with trading or any skill set that you have, whatever it is, making music, like you're just so consistent with it that eventually like it just ends up working. Because like I truly believe like you get rewarded, right? What is the saying, right, Bash? It's, you know, people people who are great at things, like people who may make a lot of money or something, they've just
Mm.
done ordinary things for an extraordinary amount of time. People who are extraordinary at something, like let's say just anything, right? They've done ordinary things for an extraordinary amount of time. So it really is like trusting the process. And again, along the way, when you make money, again, most people will make money and lose it, right? So what
Mhm.
Bash said is so key, because it's kind of like the individuals who get a funded account, but then they lose it. They're just like, well, what
Yeah.
was the point? Didn't you weren't you working so hard to get this, like, so you could keep it and multiply it? So
People
it's
will focus
really,
so much on the get that they.
yeah. And then it's like, well, now once you have it, what are you gonna do if you're not prepared when you have it? That's why I say if someone gave you $1 million, you better be a millionaire real quick, because it's it's a mindset, right? It really
Mhm.
is a mindset. Because you see lotto winners, they make money, they go broke really quick because they don't have the right mindset with how to manage their money. And like, yeah, money is abundant, like you could get it, but again, it's being responsible with it, right? Because anything could happen. So you really just have to, there's, again, I'm not a financial advisor or anything, but like you really have to prioritize. You have to write things out. Like, what are your expenses? Like, what are you investing into? And like, you have to portion it out so that you don't go broke, like, so that your equity curve keeps growing. So you don't over leverage. And like, you need to be able to know yourself really, like if you're like a real like degenerate and like you're just balls to the wall risk, and like, yeah, if you're super confident in yourself and you're making good decisions, you could do very well, right? But some people will make decisions like that out of fear, and then it's just a downward spiral, and they can't see themselves getting back up. So it's
It's like
constantly
they make
making
decisions out of the lack of not having money.
right, because there's a scarcity mindset and there's an abundant mindset, right? There's like survival, where it's like, oh, I need to do this or else I can't do this, and then there's like, I just do this. So it's like there's a huge difference between like I
Mhm.
need to do this or else I can't do this, and there's like I do this. So it's like really where you see yourself, but it's a journey, like.
It's like most people um spend what they don't have
Mm,
for things that they don't need.
yeah.
And when you're like writing out, when you are just doing life, living you and with your own purpose, maybe your purpose maybe you found your purpose, but you have to figure out how your purpose can now serve other people. And that's when it becomes valuable to other people. It may be valuable to you, but now it has to be valuable to other people. And so when you spend all time, for example, if I didn't have my purpose, I'd be spending a lot of what I don't have into things I don't really need because I don't really know what to do. But when I am now aware of where I'm at, what I'm doing, what I'm passionate about, now I can funnel that. And how can I make this valuable for others? How can I bring more value with my purpose to other people? Because then that in itself will generate opportunities. That in itself will open doors, right? And so for me at least, I will no longer be spending on things I really don't need. I'm gonna be leveraging on things that align with what I'm doing now. Things that I simply get to do now. Just do them. I just do them. Like Matthew was just saying. It's not that I have to do these things. I don't have to acquire this to get this. I get to do these things and I just do them because that's my purpose. I don't spend on things that really like I won't spend money I don't have for things I don't need. I rather leverage money through business or whatever, leverage income and funnel it towards a purpose. And I have faith in my purpose, and I truly believe that abundance of income will flow through. And when you're truly aligned with that self of just doing this for your purpose and not for the income, not for the money, not chasing the bag, you will stop chasing a bag and the bag will come to you, right? It's when it's because most people think that they're getting the bag, but most of the time the bag has you.
Yeah.
And that's like, yeah, it's like big. It's like when you don't have a purpose and you get to that money, then you don't even know what to do with that money. And then the money starts doing you.
It's like dopamine, you know, people
Yeah.
just
And it starts
constantly
changing
chasing.
you. And that's when people like get changed by money. And this again all comes down to your perception, your belief about money. And so I stopped surrounding myself around people that were too busy looking at the clock. You know what I mean? I started surrounding myself with people that were, people that avoided looking at the clock, that were just that person all the time. You see, like as a trader, I am that individual always. I don't clock out. There's no me. I don't look at the clock. Therefore, I have the luxury to not have to look at the tags, most of the price tag most of the time. Because if you spend the whole day looking at the clock, then you don't have any reason to be staring at any price tag, right? If you surround yourself with individuals, right? If you want to have the luxury of not looking at the price tag, you have to have the mindset to not look at the clock. And that's the reality of it for me, at least. It's like
I
you
go
want to
ahead.
add on to that? Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just reading your message.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just like you say so many good things, bro, or just all the time actually. But like there's just some certain times where I'm just like, I just can't interrupt you because I'm just like, bro,
No, go
yes.
ahead, please.
Because like we really lay in the bed we make, you know, like everything is a choice.
So
like we are in the position we're in because we put ourselves in the position that we're in, right? It's
100% responsible.
taking full responsibility, right? There's victim mentalities, and then there's just taking accountability, being responsible for like where you are. And this is the stuff that most people don't want to face, right?
Mhm.
Is understanding that it doesn't matter what is going on in the economy. It doesn't matter who your employer is, right? None of that matters because you create your own economy. Money just goes through your company. Money goes like you are truly creating your own economy. So that's the thing, is like when you look inwards and like again you focus on becoming more valuable, not only adding value to yourself but adding value to others. I'm telling you, you could read so many books on like Andrew Carnegie, Napoleon Hill, Bob Proctor. Like they give it to us, right? This is a lineage of information, decades, right, centuries. And it really is just understanding that you create your own economy. A lot of times people are waiting for certain conditions in the markets or whatever, but it's like, no, the time is always now. And it's like, what are you doing now, right, with the time that you have? So money is abundant, right? Money is a tool. That's another thing that I wanted to say earlier is money is a tool, right? It's an exchange of value, right? It's a tool.
Wow.
We get money because it allows us to do certain things that we want to do, right? We could do certain things with money that we want to do. So money is a tool. That's all money is. Money is a tool to
Wow.
build certain things, to create certain things. Money is a tool. Money is a means of exchange. It's a tool. And um, there's this movie called Eyes Wide Shut, and I highly recommend to watch it because I don't have fiat right now. But literally, there's a thing where it's like you put these glasses on and you can see the reality of the world, and then it showed money and it said, "This is your God."
Oh,
And money
wow.
is most people's God, right? Because that's all they desire. That's all they're focused on, and they're just dedicating their entire day
Enslaved to it.
to money, right? When again, people who are operating out of an enlightened self-interest, right? People who are doing things because they feel like it's a higher purpose, it's bigger than themselves, right? It's not just about money to get things for themselves, but it's for the people around them. Obviously, they're included, right? It's for the people around them. It's for a bigger purpose to, I guess you could say, make the world a better place. Those who are purpose driven get rewarded abundantly. And it's not a coincidence, right? Well, people who are just thinking about themselves, yeah, you can get a Lambo, you do this stuff. Anybody could do that, right? But
I
like
know.
you're gonna be lonely, you know, like you're gonna just feel like, well, what's next? You're gonna keep chasing the next thing, right? But when you're living like with a purpose and you know you have goals, and every goal, every milestone is like a new level to not only for yourself, but again, it's like you're accumulating more wealth because again most people are just again there's nothing right or wrong about what you do with your money and stuff, right? But
Yeah.
if you have to keep working for your money to spend it and then to work for it again so you can spend it again, like it's just a hamster wheel, right? They call it the rat race. So it's constantly prioritizing, right? Again, it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. So when you get those withdrawals, when you close those deals, whatever it is, it's not getting too excited, right? You have to have bigger goals that you're building towards because it's like you have bricks, right? And you're building this building, you're building this building, and it's just brick by brick, right? And guess what? If you like you throw a brick over there, then like you're just gonna keep getting and you're not gonna build it, right? So like you gotta
Uh,
keep using. You have to really leverage what you have because again, it's like most people. Again, we always put ourselves in a situation where we are because of who we are really, and who we are is really our habits, right? So everything that we do, like when opportunities come, right, these huge opportunities, when whenever crypto flies x amount percent, certain stocks fly x amount percent, you see
Zoom.
opportunities in the real estate market, you're like, fuck, if only I had this, if only I could put this much money in it. But it's like you could have, but again, most people don't. They don't prepare themselves for those opportunities. So
And they believe that they don't have enough.
yeah,
That's literally
it's
it.
like if they just prioritized their like really the opportunity to get them there, then they would be there, right? It's like, but again, most people will spend money they don't have on things they can't afford to impress people they don't even like, right? So it's like when you prioritize yourself though, and you're accumulating, you're stacking, as they say, right? You're stacking so when the opportunity presents itself, you can invest. You will thank yourself, right? Instead of
Yeah.
when most people will get paid, spend, and then invest what's left.
Mm.
Well, wealthy individuals will get their pay, they'll invest, save, and then spend what's left, right? So it's like really prioritizing. You got to stack, like that's really important. And for me, it was like, I got excited and I would just like spending money. It's like I'm just in a wheel, I'm just in a race, because when you because then you'll always have to keep working for money, right? You'll thank yourself later because then you could take a week off, you could take a month off, you'll be chilling, right? Because you
Yeah.
set yourself up for certain opportunities to continue leveraging. So high leverage opportunities, high income producing skills will allow you to get more time. Because at the end of the day, money is a tool, and I believe the most valuable thing that money could buy back. And it's funny, it's ironic, it goes like backwards. Is again, to live in the world we live in, you need money. like there's oxygen and then there's like money to live, right? You got to do certain things. So the most valuable thing that money has ever bought for me is time to spend with my family, right? With my loved ones, with my friends, going out, being able to do the things I want to do. So I feel like that's really the big goal, right? Is for a lot of people is not just financial freedom, but like time freedom. Like being financially free allows you to have time freedom. It allows you to do the things you want to do, but and you really can only get there if you prioritize your goals. So you have to have goals around money. But again, I feel like when you have a higher purpose connected to those goals, like the money just comes. Like, and it's so cliche, but it's so true. Like, but yeah, I think that's it for me today.
Sure, brother. And honestly, that's perfect. That's seems to be all about all the time we have left today, guys. And no, we really appreciate everyone for tuning in. We are on YouTube. We did get listed on YouTube, so now you guys can go check out our previous recordings. You can just put YouTube dash youtube.com dash at inner wealth and you'll come across our channel. And
Slash, right? It's a
yeah.
backslash.
Oh yeah, slash. And I'll also drop it on the video, on the recording right here on the bottom as well. So you guys can have here in the bottom corner. And yeah, I just want to share with you guys this last ending because it literally costs zero income. Don't ever think that you don't have enough. The fact that you don't have enough is the very reason why you don't have. It may always feel like you don't have, and it doesn't. You don't need a lot of money to make a lot of money. Calendly started out of frustration with zero. It was a starter with zero initial investment. For those of you who don't know, Calendly is a scheduling web platform. Calendly LLC, it is now worth $3 billion currently at the make of this video. We're reporting on April 6th of 2022. It's $3 billion worth company. And it started out of nothing, no initial investment and just frustration. I'm telling you, when you can provide a service and a purpose, somebody was really like all about their schedule and they can make that accessible to everybody else. That's what Calendly brought. It was the frustration and the skill set brought to the value of to the marketplace. And that's how this thing grows. So
What did
anyways, guys.
What did Elon say? He said you get rewarded for the amount, the size and quantity of the problems you're able to solve for other people.
Yep. Yeah. And the direct measurement of the size and quantity of, it is true. You can resolve your purpose can align and resolve somebody else's problem and somebody else can benefit from it. There is value that is added to it. Okay, so with that, guys, we're going to leave it. We appreciate you guys tuning in for another episode. We'll be uploading another one next week. And yeah, me and Matthew are just excited to be running these up. And thank you guys for being here.
Guys,
we appreciate
it. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And yeah, remember, money doesn't define you, right? You are your habits, and that's just who you are. So don't ever let money define you. This lesson is on the psychology of money. You're much more valuable than any amount of money in this entire world. And yeah, don't ever forget that. So peace.
Peace out.